The water pump is out, and it's all cleaned up. The gasket's cleaned up. Now this here, that plunger is a tensioner. It has to be, the spring has to be tensioned on it, and the way to tension it is a wheel that actually bolts right in that hole right up here, pointing to it. And there's a way, that's another trick to doing this. This is the water pump that is out of the vehicle, and this pump doesn't look like there's a problem with it, and I was hoping this could fix a leak, but it may not be this, but versus doing a cracked block, but I'm not sure if that's the case. Probably maybe it's not. But getting back to the other subject, this is the tensioner, and you can see the way it tensions is it's off center. So when you tighten this bolt up, you can bring the wheel closer or further into the belt, and that'll put tension on that spring-loaded plunger, and that keeps the belt at the right proper tightness. And as it wears, the spring will push out up, and it'll push up against the belt. So there's some tension on it with that plunger. So this is the way to tension is actually a tool that goes in here, but you can make one, or used curved end needle nose pliers. Put them in here, and that'll do it. That's another way of doing it too. But that's it for this part. Okay, the timing belt is installed, and you can see the marks are lined up. There's a notch in here. I have it painted in white, and I use a couple of these giant clamps for like paper, but they work great for holding the belt on. And also, I'll use this center bolt. I'll turn this, when I put this on, it's kind of a trick, because I turn this one a little bit inward, and because you really can't get this belt tight enough and slide it on over the water pump. In other words, you turn this in about a notch and you pull it back a notch after you get the belt on. If you understand, just turns in this way, slight amount, and when you slip the belt on, you pull it back, because if you have them lined up, you find you really can't get the belt on over this lip on the water pump pulley. And the same thing in the back. And it's lined up. Okay, there it is. There's the white mark, and they're lined up. Now, I want to say something about when you're slipping this belt in. You might want to move this sprocket this way a slight amount, and then back it off so everything tightens up, because you really can't line this up first and slip the belt right over, because there's a little bit of a notch or groove on that water pump pulley. Okay, so you might want to move this over just maybe a couple notches worth, and then slide the belt over, then pull it back, and more than likely you get it dead on that way. And put these clips on there to secure it. Now on the bottom, okay, marks are lined up. White mark is lined up with the mark on the block. You can see the mark on the block. Now, as far as the water pump bolts, there's two different size bolts. The larger bolts on a water pump are spec'd to be torqued at 17 foot-pounds or 204 inch-pounds, which I think is kind of tight. I mean, I put them in about 15 foot-pounds instead. I don't like that, because these bolts seem to strip out on these aluminum blocks when you get older. Sometimes I don't quite torque them exactly what they say, but it doesn't make that much of a difference. But do what you want. These are also on this tensioner. These are also supposed to be 17 foot-pounds, so 204 inch-pounds. I use 15 foot-pounds on them, and I don't think it's that accurate, but I don't trust the aluminum. I'm just telling you that's what my belief is. This bolt here, this is actually on a pivot. This pivots. This is 33 foot-pounds. This goes into aluminum. This actually goes into the steel bracket. This is the tensioner pulley. That's 35 foot-pounds. Now, this tensioner actually has like a plunger in here. It's under a very heavy spring. Now, actually it's almost lined up, but when you push this, when you take this out, you use a big C-clamp to push this plunger in. It's been there very, very tight. And then you push an Allen wrench or a pin through here to hold it all in place. Now, actually, you're supposed to use a tool in here, these two notches up in here, and put a certain torque on it and put up against the belt. What I do is I use crowbar, and I put enough torque on this, and then I tighten it all up. Actually, the belt's nice, it's pretty tight, you know, it's pretty tight. Alright, and then when I pull this out, this pin out, there's basically no tension on it, because you see there's actually a lot of spring in here. There's a lot. This actually can, as this belt stretches, this can actually move out quite a bit, and it pushes this whole, this is on a hinge right here, it pushes this whole assembly, this wheel up against the belt. So there's plenty of room as this belt ages and stretches for it to be held tightly in here. Actually, I have it on here correctly, but I haven't actually done it right to the book procedure. I actually use a crowbar in here. Now, this basically finishes the installation. The only thing you have to put on here is, you know, it's a pain in the ass. Bolt up the power steering bracket, bolt up the power steering, put the motor mount, actually the motor mount cover on there. Now, I want to point out something about this. Probably you'll see it right away anyway. You'll notice one of these bolts on this upper motor mount is actually sticking through here a lot longer. And okay, the reason for that is it goes through this hole here on the water pump, and then it screws into the block. Okay, then it screws into the block, so it has to, you know, pass through the body of the water pump. Okay, so that's just some little stupid thing, but basically that's it. And then you just put it back together. I mean, the timing is all set on here, and it's a matter of putting the motor mount back on, the timing covers, timing belt covers, the power steering bracket, power steering pump, putting the belts back on, and of course the upper intake. But basically this is all the hard parts done now. So that is how you do the timing belt in a nutshell. If you have any questions, just post them on the net.